a channel where we don't just tell you things, but we also want to show you. And I am a real estate explorer, your host on this lovely channel. In our last edition, we talked about signs and effects of poor concrete mix. Now, a lot of people kept calling me and they said, the explorer, we really appreciate this video. One said, I've been looking all over my house for cracks, and there was one big crack that I saw that I've overlooked. I never knew that such cracks can even lead to collapse of buildings. Now, that is the essence of our program, to enlighten you, to educate you on real estate activities and the real estate profession and industry. Now, don't be scared. Today, we're not talking about things that will lead to collapse, because it's a festive period and it's Christmas. So I'm also inviting you to stay tuned, because we're going to do a live event, a live show of Plants and Trees Christmas edition coming up on the 22nd of December. Okay, today we're talking about something new. We have been talking all about acquisition of properties, where to buy land, your buildings, construction and all that. But today we're talking about property management. So I'm going to give you an insight of property management. And in our next edition, you will be listening to a professional property manager. So stay tuned, get yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. You know this is a festive period and we are celebrating. And don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Today we're talking about property management. Now, having a property commercial use, I'm talking about lease, renting. Property management goes beyond just collection of rents. When you focus more on just collection of rents, that is caretaking. That means you're a caretaker. But a property manager is a professional. He handles a property, cares for it, and nurture it because it is an investment. Now, there are three areas that differentiate the property manager from a caretaker. And these areas are tenant management, investment management, and property maintenance. Now, what's tenant management? The property manager is not only interested in getting the property occupied. There has to be a selection process for tenants to come into the property. Now, what are these processes? It involves three stages, three things that the property manager must look out for: willingness and suitability, or willingness and the ability to agree to these terms. We don't just pick customers, we don't just pick tenants to come into a home, to come into a property. We must check if there is this willingness and they have the ability to meet the terms of the lease. But a caretaker does not care about it. All he wants is, can you pay money? Can you pay the rent? Once he says yes, fine, you can pay and pack it. But the manager, because he is looking at the property as an investment, he cannot just pick anyhow person and put there just to buy and collect rent. No, he must check whether the person is willing and has the ability to meet these terms. Then another thing he looks at that differentiates him from a caretaker is suitability to the property. Is the tenant, the incoming tenant, suitable for that property? Now, for example, you have a 2-bedroom apartment and a family man with 2 children comes and says, I want to come in. Now, he is suitable for that kind of facility, for that apartment, 2-bedroom, just himself and his 2 kids. But when you see a family man who is coming in with his wife, 4 children, and 4 hefty boys who are helping him to sell in the market, coming in to occupy a 2-bedroom apartment, they are not suitable because they will overuse the facility and end up destroying the apartment. So, when you look at these things, you discover that it separates the property manager from a caretaker. Another thing they look at is complementarity in relation to adjoining properties. You're renting a 2-bedroom apartment or a 3-bedroom apartment in a block of 6 flats. Then the other 5 apartments are residential. Then the one that you're taking, you want to turn it into a church, or you want to start using it for an office. It would disturb the other residents. But a caretaker, they don't look at it that way. They will just turn it into commercial. All they are after is their money. But that is not the case of the property management. Now, talking about investment management. Now, irrespective of the use for which a property was bought, it is still considered as an investment. That is why the property manager ensures that these properties, especially those used for lease and rent, are handled with care. They must ensure that certain management practices are employed in handling these investments. Now, one of the practices is tenant selection and verification. Like we said, you don't just bring anybody to occupy a building. So once the tenant has submitted his details, these details are checked and verified. What are we verifying? For example, we need to know where he lived before. If he lived within the same state, we go and check whether he actually lived there. Now, the property manager, we also check to know if he was a paying tenant or if he is not troublesome. Because some tenants might be troublesome, might be going, disappear, and not come here. But your caretaker will just collect his money. Another thing we also do as property managers, I'm also a property manager, but you will be listening to another property so that you just don't hear side alone. Now, another thing again is rent collection. It is very important. Without the rent, there is no business because the property is not a charity organization. So we employ different ways to collect rent. Then there is this area where we need to know where the landlord's consent is needed to carry out some activities. Then there is periodic inspection. The periodic inspection has to do with coming to check the property to know whether the tenant is actually using it for what he said he was going to use it for. All these things are very important. Then we must also ensure that there is observance of covenants. It is very important. All these things the caretaker knows nothing about. All he is after is get the money and pay to the landlord. He's only like a rent collector. That is what he is. But for property managers, they must ensure that the property is well handled. The property is treated well. Like every other business, it must be well handled, treated well, and everything there must be coordinated. So we talk about property maintenance. Now, what is property maintenance all about? This is where the property manager is able to distinguish between repair liabilities for the tenants and repair liabilities for the landlords. So, what the property manager does is to act as an enforcer to ensure that the tenants fulfill their part of agreement to carry out repairs consigned in within the apartment that he's living. He is meant to carry out repairs once it is in respect of the internal part of the building, while the landlord takes care of the external part. And some of the repairs that the property manager helps with is to repaint the property, we decorate, check out for leaking roofs, everything that is pertaining to external parts of property. Now, most landlords find it difficult to want to bring out money to carry out repairs, especially external repairs. That is why, because the property manager is trained, what he does is to tell the landlord that, okay, once the rent is paid, take away like 5%, keep it, manage it for you. It's called an annual sinking fund, so that when you have things concerning external repairs, you don't need to start bringing out money. All we need to do is go to the annual sinking fund and withdraw cash from it and use it to carry out your repairs. So, in our next episode, you are not just going to hear from me, you're going to hear from a licensed and professional property manager, so that he will give you a different dimension and another insight into property management. So till we meet again in our next episode, it's goodbye from us, and be happy because we are in a festive period, and come 22nd of this month, December, we'll be bringing you our Christmas edition, and we'll be airing it live on this channel. So it's goodbye from us, and keep on watching Lands and Creeps.